Good afternoon, Sandra. This is so exciting. Welcome to Good Luck, Luke.
Thank you for having me.
I can't believe you and I, this is the very first time we're out of the office and meet and talking about your journey. I love to, when patients or therapists, anything that, anyone that comes in to talk about, like, how do we get to know each other? How long ago? I was just talking to some patients before you. Again, I keep on saying patient. They're friends now because they're no longer my patient. They're like, Dr. Luk, my child is 10 years old. I was like, oh my God. So we know each other for 12 years. So Sandra, remind me, how long we've known each other? And
so Dr. Luk and I have known each other for 8 years already.
Years.
We started
2000, way before COVID.
Way before COVID. We started together in 2015.
And I want to tell you, Sandra, you are very, you taught me a lot about humility and empathy, because I remember you really hated needles and not too much exam, like you didn't like that. The fact that you coming to me was a big step because coming to me is all about needles and ultrasound. Let's talk about that. Why came to me? What drove that, and how do you find that resilience and strength to journey on? Go ahead.
Absolutely, and it's an honor to be here to talk to other patients who are going through this as well. And I want to start by giving a little bit of my medical background, just so that people can understand the uniqueness of this. So I was born with a congenital heart defect, and in speaking to my cardiologist, learned that me carrying a baby was not going to be safe. It would put my life at risk. It would put a baby's life at risk. And so that wasn't going to be an option. So my husband and I, we were talking, and we quickly realized that IVF and surrogacy was going to be our path, or our likely path. And we started to research where we were going to go. And ultimately, I found Dr. Luk and Dr. Neja.
And we're still in a small office at that point. We're still in the downstairs 5th floor. Yes.
We were. And we chose Dr. Luk and Dr. Neja because of a number of factors. One was that I knew that you were going to take really good care of me as a cardiac patient, because you had a personalized approach, because you were able to do mini IVF and offer a protocol that was going to work for myself and that my cardiologist would even approve. And I also really noticed the way that your team spoke to patients in the office from the first day I came in for the consultation. And I saw that your team was so compassionate, just as compassionate as you and Dr. Neja were. And that was a really big thing for me, because I came at this from a place of fear, because I had gone through so much medically. And when I got to you, I was
And when you
terrified.
say that, is it because you've gone through loss of blood draw when you were a child and all that?
I had several surgeries as a child.
Because of the cardiac.
Because of the cardiac issue. And truly, I did kind of okay with needles, but where I didn't do okay was scans, ultrasound scans, anything internal. A retrieval scared me. And I remember coming to you that first day, my first appointment. Now, of course, we can look at it and learn from it, but I almost jumped out of the chair the first day because I was so nervous. I was so tense. And when every muscle in your body tenses up, it makes it harder to get
so
through
hard.
an exam.
Sandra, I remember I don't even want to start an exam because it's so painful for you psychologically, so stressed. I can see it in your eyes, and also the needles, and because I did work at pediatric. I don't know if you that share some of it by one of my best friends also in pediatric cardiology and so I know when you had to go through a significant, I want the audience to know this is not like a selective, okay, I don't want to carry the child. This is like a medical life death situation where a person had to decide, if I want a child, I cannot carry because it will be a significant health risk to you.
When I learned that the heart was going to have to pump 1.5 times starting at 6 weeks of pregnancy, I knew this was not an option.
It's all right.
It was not an option. But that was okay because fertility treatment was there. It was an opportunity to have a family. I was lucky to live in a time where this could happen.
And Sandra, did you delay the thinking about it until later because you were together for 10 years?
Yeah, we, certainly I was afraid to get started. And really, I found so much comfort. Your choice in doctor is really important. You were so compassionate. You never once made me feel like it wasn't okay. And really, every time I would come in, I would ask to hold somebody's hand. And it's not an embarrassing thing. It's something that I want everybody to know, because when you hold somebody's hand, you can talk to them. You have a partner in the room with you. They can distract you.
Mm-hmm.
You can squeeze it if you need to. You feel like you're fully supported. And this, I'm telling you, is from the staff. Literally, you and your team put me on your back and carried me across the finish line through every single scan and every single retrieval. And I just want to say that we went through 24 rounds of this. So if I can do it, and others can definitely do it.
It was not easy. Sandra, I also told you I was going to be honest with you. If it's dangerous, I'm not going to do it. I told you that too, because one of the unique things that we do at what Dr. Naja and I do, or Generation X, that we do local anesthesia retrieval. So to put your heart through anesthesia, IV sedation, is big deal. Yes. So you can't actually. I remember you told me, Dr. Luk, I got consult, other places, and no, they would not do that. And so coming to me was purely, and Sandra, is all you in so many women's body, women's wisdom. I know you give so much credit to us, but it was you who went through the local anesthesia. I mean, you're just amazing. I didn't think you were going to, I don't remember you and I talked, that was 8 years ago, but I still remember the discussion. I said, what? You cannot tolerate the blood draw. How are you going to tolerate egg retrieval? I was just saying it. And then I said, okay. And you said, Dr. Luk, let's try. And then we got someone holding hands. I don't think there was anesthesia from hand holding, but you got the emotional support. And yes, our needles are indeed a little bit smaller, so you can tolerate, because vagina, sorry to make this, usually is a less sensitive organ than, interestingly, yes, I know, guys, you're like, what? Yeah, I know it's a very personal place, but actually that's where baby comes out. So vagina, the epithelium does not feel like the hand, the fingers or skin. So, but you still feel the poke. So like I said, Sandra is amazing. The fact that she just went through it. How did you, I remember we went through, and you just summarized right before our podcast, talk about, hey, Dr. Luk, it was around 6 IVF we did some
6,
embryos, and they would not, and nothing was tested.
The first 6 rounds we did, we got 4 embryos. We got 1 in round 1 and 2, none in round 3 and 4. And then I called Dr. Luk and said, what are we going to do? And we said, we're going to keep going. So we did it, and we did 5 and 6.
Actually, I forgot to tell the audience why you can do local, and because you're not someone who get 20 eggs in one stimulation.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we forgot to tell.
1 to 2 eggs per round was a good round, everybody.
So I met Sandra. I was like, oh my God, you cannot go through all these needles. Plus, there's not that many eggies on each retrieval because we have diminished ovarian reserve. So then that also, in some ways, a blessing. See, everything is disguised is a blessing. Is that you will not need sedation because 28 is really painful, guys. And 50, lots of my patients do get IV sedation, but when you only have 1, 2, or 3, it's okay. And then it's the stimulation protocol. Absolutely. We don't use to hide the stimulation. So I think I did get okay from your cardiologist to get, I said, well, I'm only lose a little bit. We're going to get lucky to get 1 or 2. And yes, I always, every day, I'm like, Sandra, why don't you come? I didn't do that, but mentally, emotionally, I wish she came to me earlier so we have better, good eggs, so we don't have to go through that many retrievals to get the 2 or 3 good embryos.
Well, every retrieval we did, I held someone's hand. We did it locally. We got through it together. But really, your team also created a really great atmosphere in that operating room. Keeping your head in the game is really important. Every time I would go in, I would think, is this the retrieval that's going to change our lives? Maybe it is. Maybe these 30 minutes are going to be life-changing. So we need to do this. And we would go in, and it would be like hanging out with a friend in some way because I had somebody holding my hand the whole way, talking to me through it. And, one day we were talking about restaurants in New York City, and another day we were talking about
and you were awake.
else.
Yes, and this is amazing. I don't think any audience yet described during the retrieval what you were doing, and then I think my staff would tell you that's an egg.
Yeah,
you can see it because they try to distract you from all whatever I'm doing or Dr. Nasia is doing. So they were like, "Hey, that's the egg, Sandra." I remember. You're like, "Yay!"
We would cheer.
We would cheer. It's awake. So.
And one time we got 5, and we all cried in happiness that there were 5 that we took. That was like my best round ever.
I do remember. Either I stood up or Dr. Nasia was like, "Okay, good," and we were downstairs, so everything was very close knit.
Yes.
So Sandra, remind me, what did we decide? Because we talk about they were untested. Was it because we didn't get good yield of number of embryos? Why did we decide not test? Did we also do day 3s also, or just
we did all day 5s because we were dealing with a gestational carrier situation, and so we decided we were going to do all day 5s. And the reason we didn't test. This was back in 2015 and 16 that we did the first 6 rounds. And we didn't test because I got 1 egg around. And I also, at that point, I remember leaving the first cycle being like, awesome, we did it. We're going to be able to have a child. And really thinking, not realizing that in this journey, working with a carrier, I really did need more than 1. And so I'm not sure I even knew how many rounds I would do at that point. And so since I only had 1, we really didn't need to test it. And then I had only 2, and we really kind of didn't need to test that either. So, in the beginning, we just didn't. We didn't think we hadn't tested.
And then since gestation carrier is also a very unique experience for some of our patients, they're like, what was a gestation carrier? And talk to me the experience, the lawyer, I don't know, the cost is not as important, but patients have different state, I guess, have different cost range. But if you have any information to share with our audience.
Absolutely. So surrogacy, I want everybody to know surrogacy is an absolutely beautiful option. If this is an option that you need to seek, you should feel good about your choice, because there are surrogates in general really want to help you be successful. You have just gained somebody who is on your team. They want to have this baby for you more than anything. They are angels that walk this earth. Women who sign up and step up for this, for a complete stranger, are truly incredible human beings. As you go through the journey, we worked with an agency both times. And in the beginning, there is a lot of paperwork, a lot of setup, but the part that's the most critical is really making sure that you find the right match. And this is where an agency will help you, but you will feel it. You will have a conversation with a potential surrogate, and you will know after that conversation if this is a person that you'd like to be on a journey with. Trust is the most important factor here. They are trusting you just as much as you are trusting them. And your job is not so much to micromanage what they're doing, but to trust that they're going to make great choices for your baby.
Right.
And truly, I really think that people should know that when you choose surrogacy, you are not going to have any less of a bond with your baby. It doesn't make you any less of a mother. And also, for me, it was the safest environment for my baby. So in that respect, I needed to do that right away. And now I can sit here and say that I have 2 lifelong friends that I made who are our surrogates, and my children know they're surrogates. They know how wanted they were. They know the kindness and what kindness means and what a selfless act.
How long did you take you to even find like the surrogacy agency? Like, how do you interview them? Can you bring us into some details of that process?
Yeah. Well, if you're thinking about doing surrogacy, the first thing you want to do is if you want to work with an agency, find an agency and get on that list, because many agencies have about a year to year and a half wait.
Oh, wow.
And you do typically fill out a survey with everything in it. Every kind of value you could imagine that you might have, you want to put in there. And you want to be honest, because you want to make sure that you're matched with somebody who has the same values as you. So
it did take you a year and a half for
it
the
took us a year and a half till we saw our first match.
I see.
And the first one that we were presented with was actually not a match for us.
I see.
And we saw match 2 and match 3 potential, and they were also not matches. When we got to match 4, we knew it immediately. We had a conversation. We clicked. We both got off the phone.
Was it this around COVID or not yet?
This is prior to COVID.
Right prior.
Yes.
Okay, got you.
For our first child was prior to COVID. And both myself and the surrogate got off the phone and called the agency immediately and said, we're a match.
And once you get a match, they do have the lawyers, or you have the lawyer? How does that part work?
So once you get matched, then you work on a contract. And once everything is agreed upon in the contract.
And there's different states with different regulations, right?
Yes, it depends where your surrogate lives. You'll be abiding by the rules in their state because the delivery will happen in their state.
Gotcha.
And so you also have to work out your parentage in that state as well. And it really is a case-by-case basis. So there are some states that are friendlier than others towards this, but your agency will know how to operate in each state and help match you up with a lawyer who's an expert in that state as well. So it can be a pretty smooth process. It does take a little while. So
no, but you had a great we will go on to your story continuing, but you did have a good 2 times, 2 different places and two great,
different states.
And Sandra, you're very important for that connection, because when I take care of you, I hear you. I want that connection that I feel, Dr. Luk. And so you must feel that connections with your surrogates. And the fact that you did it, that's great. And it's good to be honest to people. For you to have that connection, you may take the match 4.
Yes.
It's not the match 1, it's not match 2. And it sucks, but if you have that big of it, but someone's carrying your child. So why not take that time to just get to the right person?
It's a big ask, but once you have the right person, your relationship will build and they will share more about their process. I mean, I would know when our baby was kicking. I would know what they were craving. I was led into the process because we built a relationship. This was not a business transaction for us. It was actually not transactional at all for me. And it wasn't transactional for our surrogates either. And you can choose that. You can choose what kind of journey you want to have. If you want to have a journey that's more about the relationship, you choose that up front. If you want to have something that's more like a business transaction, that's absolutely fine too. But you know that up front, and so does your surrogate. So it's clear. It's clear every step of the way.
So now, Sandra, remind me how this whole play out. We did 6 IVF.
We did 6 rounds initially,
right? And then we had 2 blasts.
We actually had 4 blasts.
4 blasts. Sorry, 4 blasts. And then you got our first little one.
Yes.
That was
2017.
I still have that picture. Okay.
Yeah, our first transfer worked.
Yes.
We were thrilled. So now we're thinking, great, we have 3 more.
Right.
We have a sibling in the bag.
Yeah, and then those are parts where I was not involved now because you already got your 4 embryos. Like, bye-bye, Luke. I'm going to get pregnant now with my 2 children. And so I saw, so I got the first one was great. And then...
So then we went to transfer the second one. Actually, we decided mutually with our surrogate that we were going to try again. And we tried, and unfortunately, it didn't take.
And how old? Remind me now. How old were you when those 4 embryos were made?
I was 36 and 37.
Okay. Yep. And so the percentages is about 45%, but we got hit. We're 100% the first one. So and then the second one didn't work.
Didn't work. It may have been a chemical. It may have been a miscarriage. It took for a short amount of time. We'll never know, but it wasn't meant to be. So we went to the third one. And that one didn't take at all.
What year now we are?
Now I'm 42. And
You're 42 now. We're 2000.
We're 2000.
I don't know.
21.
21. That's COVID.
2000. I'm sorry.
22.
2000. Yes.
22.
Something like that.
And now I'm like, Sandra, why are you back here?
I'm back. I literally have 1 embryo. Also at that point, we...
It's so funny, Sandra, you don't understand. Because I know how much process we've gone through. I'm like, why are you back here, Sandra? You should just go. And I know, Dr. Luk, I'm going to have 1 left. and I'm here. Maybe get more eggs on. Oh, okay, sure. And yes.
Well, we also at that point
No, I'm
needed a
kidding.
different surrogate.
Yes.
So
yes.
we had to sign with a different agency.
Yeah, you were waiting. So you're
were
high
waiting.
strung. You're like, I'm waiting. I don't want to keep on waiting. I'm getting older. I need
I'm 42.
insurance.
I got a
And-
year wait. So I'm like, I might as well do something to help here. I might as well try. I might as well bank.
And
Try
this is
to-
actually a good point to our audience. You sometimes may not get surrogates life change. They may not come for the second child, right? That's what happened to you.
Well, we did round 2 and 3 with the same surrogate, but that was
So-
all we had
Gotcha.
agreed to.
Got you.
So it was time to
Change. And also, yes.
Yes.
And to hopefully have a higher
y-
different success maybe. And we don't know, right? It can be the embryo, but yes.
And I also have an untested now. I have one embryo untested, the 4th one at bat, and I'm thinking I need more. I need more to if we're gonna have a child and we're gonna be successful, we got to go back.
And
at
I
this.
know at that time, I know this is a heart to heart, but actually we had a heart to heart when she came in. I'm like, Sandra, are you sure you're now 42? The chances is like, I gave you some numbers about 15 or something really low. And now you're a number of eggs, but you're still cycling. You're like, Dr. I'm still having period. I can do it. So went through 10 plus rounds actually this time.
We
The
did
second-
18 back to back.
Yeah, back because Sandra is like, this is how determined this amazing woman is. And ultimately it was the last embryo from your earlier
it was.
age that you got.
We
your
didn't get
second-
to the next tier having to transfer those. But what I do want people to know is that I did, as Dr. Luk mentioned earlier, I did have DOR. I had an AMH of 0.06, not 0.6, 0.06. And what I want people to realize is that low odds doesn't mean no odds. And I am a really good example of someone who had low odds but netted out with 2 beautiful miracle children.
Yes, it was not easy. So back to rewind. I mean, after the first child, like you told me, your feelings are very different. You're like, okay, I know this is my second child. I want to complete the dream, and you deserve every bit of it. But that journey, the first time was tough because when you come with that AMH, when you come with a
Yes.
severe diminished ovarian reserve, when you also come with lots of emotions and
Yes.
and history where medical professions, not that you have any bad doctors from when you're a childhood, but more that you have gone through so much with needles and probing and the surgeries. It is not easy to fight through that mentally, emotionally. How did you find that strength, Sandra? I never asked you that. Like, why so determined? Why, even when you come back, I'm like, why are you crazy? Why are you coming back? Just go and transfer and have a second child.
Well, I'm a big believer in not taking no for an answer. If this is something that you truly want, if this is your dream, just go after it. Don't have any regrets. I didn't want to put my head on the pillow at night and think, what if I tried? What if I had tried? What if I had been successful? I would have known that I would have done everything possible to make it happen for us, to make our family here. And to be honest, it was worth fighting for. So much so that I came back a second time. And the first time I wanted it so bad, the second time I wanted it doubly bad because I knew how the joy of having my first child was. And the second time, you want it that much harder. And I wasn't going to leave without a child, let me tell you. We would have had to pivot if it didn't work. We would have had to go to the next stage. We would have possibly talked about donor. We would have gone down a different path. And that happens in people's journeys. Sometimes you have to decide, but we didn't need to get there.
We didn't need to. And nature gave us, this is amazing. How did your family, knowing you're going through this, how they know, especially, close-knit family, because they know a little bit your history as a, going through surgeries. They must be worried going through all this like retrievals and.
Well, this is a very unique scenario, but my husband and I are pretty private people. Mm-hmm. And we decided that we weren't going to share it with anybody until we were successful. And the reason for that is we didn't want anybody on this emotional roller coaster with us in our families. Mm-hmm. And that was the right decision for us. Mm-hmm. Also, I didn't know if we'd be successful. Mm-hmm. You go into this, you're not sure, and I didn't want to bring somebody else on that journey. And for us, big shout out to my husband who really was the rock behind me in all this. You know, often the partners don't get as much credit.
Yep, absolutely.
But my husband would be there every single time, and we would.
I remember I was always like, hey, she got it this time, got 3 A's. Just like, yay! Me and him would be cheering in the waiting area.
He was a stats guy too. He's a stats guy, so he understands. We would continually talk about how, you know, you got to be in it to win it. You the more times you do this, the more chances I have of possibly walking away with our child, you know.
And this is actually very good of the audience, because people need the Sandra team, the you know, Janelle's team, you know, like how do you have a team within your network or your family? And not everyone has to have a big team,
right?
Because it's so emotional and so personal.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want grandma, mommy, sister, brother to know, because you don't know how they would feel or what comments they would make. But that's actually a very good point, because we're just talking about, this is also something to share with you, Sandra, since now you know me 8 years, I guess. But I've been practicing more than a decade now. And the emotional journey, I realized, because it's taking, as I get to my 13 year, 14 year of my practicing, I see it start to happen to myself. Like I, which is a blessing and not blessing. I was just telling my patient that I still feel as fresh as I was when I first entered. When you first met me, I don't think I've changed, right, Sandra? I'm still.
You are every day. You get better and better, and I don't even know how that is possible.
But I get like the same. With the way I talk, I don't think I'm more sleepier or not. But anyway, I just felt that emotion in the journey, and that is so important for to have that rock and that support. Sandra, so I know we're wrapping up. I just want you to share a little bit what are the wisdom words that you would like to share with the audience, someone who may be going through your path or maybe not, the different pathway, maybe they're carrying the baby themselves but still going through diminished ovarian reserve. I mean, you have lots of things against you. You know, the history of medical history, the you know, getting a GC, diminished ovarian reserve. I can keep on counting, but you're like, you know what, I'm 35, 36, I'm going. So I just want to see if you have any.
I have so many things that I would share with potential patients or patients going through this. I want to say to everyone who's listening, anyone on a fertility journey knows exactly how special life is to create. Make yours count. Start with you. Make yours count. Do things every single day to make your dreams come true, because no one can do it other than you. You have to make it happen. And you know, if you need physical support to get through it, hold somebody's hand. If you need mental support, surround yourself with the right doctors or your family and friends who can help hold you up to get you through it. If you fail, it is okay. You will learn along the way. You will either try again or you will find a different path. But even if that's not the path that you thought you'd take, there are options in the path to get there. Another thing I would say is, for me, something that was very important was making IVF one part of my life and not my entire life. It's easy to have this take over your whole life, but continuing to work and see my friends and, you know, spend time with family was important, because it helped me live normally for the amount of time I was going through this. And lastly, what I would say to patients is, if I can do it, you can do it. You are stronger than you think. And one day, I think you'll be looking at your child and you'll think, gosh, I'm so glad we took the chance. The greatest risks yield the greatest rewards. And it is worth every step of the way, one day at a time. Keep fighting for your family, and you will one day maybe be on a podcast too.
Thank you so much, Sandra.
Thank you for having me.